What's up, guys, and welcome back to the JP and Trav Show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel. As always, it's your host with the most, JP, and to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother, and friend Travis J. Davidson. Travis, how are we? How are we doing, man?
We're not doing great. We're not doing great. I'll tell you that. But hey, you know what? It we were bound to take a turn down after 25 years of dominance, regardless. But first and foremost, as people pile in, shout out to your dog Boomer that was unfortunately struck by a vehicle near your house. Always hate to have that happen to a pet. Do you want to give the quick update to everybody?
Yeah, and I'll be posting. I know I haven't posted on Twitter, but I'll be posting this soon. First of all, thank you guys for all your thoughts and prayers and the help. I wasn't expecting a GoFundMe to be set up, but one of my closest buddies, college friend of mine, I'm actually going to go see him on Friday, where my wife's in a wedding in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he lives in Charlotte, works for the ACC, and so he wanted to put together a GoFundMe, and it's raised $2,500 so far, and man, it's just more than we could have asked. And I know a lot of that has been a lot of you guys, a lot of my personal friends, a lot of Texas fans, even have jumped in there. Which I know we'll talk about the game and everything, but there's stuff obviously that transcends football and rivalry, and they showed up in a big way as well. So just want to send a shout out. But yeah, he is. We decided to amputate his back left leg, and so for those who don't know, he was, like Trav said, he was struck by a car. Unfortunately, jumped the fence. He's one of the most athletic dogs I've ever seen in my life. He can barely kind of spring up, and he'll just float over the fence. And so it's been an issue we've been dealing with since we've had him. We've had him since the puppy. He's 5 years old. We've had it under control generally, and even if he does jump the fence, he's gotten in trouble enough to where as soon as his feet hit the ground on the other side, wherever he is, he jumps right back over. So this is a situation where, I don't know if he was, he's half pointer, he's Rottweiler as well. So I don't know if there was the hunting dog in him or what, but he was honing after something, I'm sure, and probably realized he got too far out and was trying to find his way back home. And I imagine he got, we know he got hit by a car. And unfortunately, the person didn't really stop and try to talk to anybody. Boomer just kind of drug himself over to the neighbor on my backyard's fence. So backyard neighbor called me the next morning and said, "Hey, I think we found Boomer. He's over here. He looks pretty hurt." And so, long story short of it, his right ankle was dislocated, like just torn up pretty much to bits, like in ligament wise. His left leg, which is the one that's going to have to be amputated, it was broken almost at the hip, and then also his femur. And so, it was just a situation where it was going to be almost a dead leg anyway. And so, when we had the X-rays, at a certain point in time, it was pay $15,000 or put your dog down. And so that's kind of where we were when I sent stuff out to Twitter. That's where we were. And so, I wasn't ever expecting anybody to drop 15 grand and help us save Boomer. But we knew that regardless of what we did, it was going to cost something. And like I said, my friend set it up, but we were just grateful that the rescue shelter here in Indy, actually the one that we got him from, the Indy Humane Society, they decided to take on his case, and they decided to amputate the leg, and that would save obviously a ton of costs, but also, just help him kind of in his recovery. He's going to be a 3-leg dog. Had plenty of those, seen plenty of those. Lots of 3-leg dogs live long lives, and so that's what they feel like is the best course of action. And he has surgery tomorrow morning, so just keep him in your thoughts and prayers on us as we kind of transition to this next stage of life for him. But yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for your prayers and everything else. Let me see if I can try to find the link and drop it in the chat. For those of you,
Yeah, can you drop links in the chat? I was about to put it under your Twitter.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if we can. If to be honest, if somebody's more savvy with the GoFundMe than me can do that and find it and drop it in the YouTube chat, that'd be great. It sounds like Trav's going to drop it under Twitter. But again, no pressure on anybody. We appreciate anything that you're willing to give. And even if it's just a prayer and a thought, that's enough. Honestly, we've been super grateful for the support that we've gotten, and so just love you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you guys have done thus far.
All right, you can paste links here. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can do it on the on that technical. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Copy link.
So on that too, we might as well go ahead and get the the painful pieces out of the way today, and that is the second embarrassing loss in the Red River rivalry in the last 3 years happened on Saturday. And so, it was a rough day for me in general. Anybody who pays attention to my Twitter, Kirby, you own one, I already knew. But anybody who's paid attention to me in general, I hosted 3 state championships this Saturday. I'm athletic director. All my fall sports teams were participating. Volleyball's in semi-state. Soccer got to the state championship. Cross country boys going for a 3-peat. So soccer loses in PKs 5-4, heartbreaking fashion. Volleyball, they lose in semi-state. And then cross country, our second best runner, first best runner I've talked about before was signed to go to Lipscomb University, Division I school. Second best runner is going to be an NAIA runner, very good in his own right. He had an appendectomy that week. And so because he wasn't there, we got fourth instead of more than likely being a 3-time state champion. So that sucked. And then I had to watch that game. Injuries,
man.
Terrible.
If it weren't for my Vikings right now, I don't know how the OU/Dallas Cowboy fans are doing it. If I had to go home from Dallas, or if you were one of the poor souls that bought tickets to both games, tried to have a good old fun weekend out of it, and watched your team get blown out back-to-back days, my heart goes out to those people because I know they exist. I think Demo's one of them.
Yeah.
That's rough. But I don't know what to say about the game, man. I talked to 2 parents before the game, and they were super confident in the offense. 2 offensive starter parents. They said they installed 50 new plays because, for those of you that don't know, I think it's almost common knowledge now. So the Arnold camp wanted to run the RPO offense, the veer and shoot, everything that Jeff Lebby installed. Joe John Finley was Jeff Lebby's pass game coordinator at Ole Miss before he got the job at Oklahoma. So Arnold wanted to run that because he's been running that since high school. Once Arnold got benched because it wasn't going well, Luttrell was like, hey, here's the perfect time to install my offense. And this is just as I understand it. Seth hasn't told me this. But this is what I've pieced together from parents that obviously would know. Some parents that their kids played important positions to know the offense. They said they tried to install 50 new plays on the bye week, bunch of air raid stuff, stuff in Seth's back pocket. But you can't install an entire offense in 2 weeks. Now, Kirby's going to clown me over and over, but it is what it is. He did have great offenses in North Texas. He had great offenses in Indiana, at Arizona, at North Carolina. if Seth Luttrell he rose the ranks through offensive coordinating. If he would have ever had as bad an offense as he's got at OU this year, he wouldn't be currently employed in the football industry. And yet he went all the way to head coach because of his offensive coordinating. So, anyways, I talked with one coach over the last couple of days that used to coach with Luttrell at a different school, and then he's a defensive coach, coached against Luttrell and had to defend against the Luttrell offense when Luttrell was offensive coordinator at a different school. And he was like, man, he's like, this isn't Luttrell's offense. None of this is like anything we prepared for when we played against him. So, anyways, here's hoping still that we get it turned around as offensive line comes back. Maybe Dion finds a way to play. I doubt it, but maybe Burks finds a way to play. Maybe Hawkins looks at the film and says, okay, cool, let's just add 5 plays at a time now instead of 50. Like, it is what it is. I know it's bad. I know it's bad, but this is by far not even close, not even in the same realm as any of the offenses that Seth Luttrell has ever coached. So at some point you have to ask why. It's not that Seth Luttrell is the 125th best offensive coordinator in the country. That can't be the case. So you have to eventually ask why. And all the people that are just calling for Seth Luttrell's heads, you're going to waste your breath because he's likely getting to the end of the year because midseason staff changes just is not going to be something that Brent Venables does. So it might be a long back half of the season for people just shouting for Brent Venables or for Seth Luttrell to be fired over and over, but it is what it is. Is what it is. Seth Luttrell's not getting fired. Seth Luttrell is a better offensive coordinator than the product he's putting out there right now. Everybody knows it. Everybody that has ever watched the Seth Luttrell offense at other schools, which I'm now understanding that 99.9% of OU fans never did, like it's not this bad. But it is this bad right now. That's the reality of it. So
here's the problem, Travis. We're talking to fans. And listen, I have my issues just with theoretically, right? With maybe some of the direction that we've been going offensively and even in changing as quickly as we tried to change. I understand all that. And I'm giving him benefit of the doubt because of offensive line injuries, because of the wide receiver injuries, and because, like you said, I truly understand that, like, he's had opportunities at other places where he's done a very good job. The reality is, right now, that's not what's happening. But what I was going to say is we're dealing with people, Travis, who had issues with top 10 offenses the last 2 years. They had issues with Levy when he was here and the offenses that he was running. And again, I know they're different, right? But again, we were top 10 and people were saying, let Levy go. I'm so sick and tired of him because we're not doing this here and here and here. And again, you can make some arguments on his game management, different pieces here and there, but they called him a bad offensive coordinator. So now it's like, man, like we called him a bad offensive coordinator with top 10 offense. Now we have a 125th ranked offense. Like that's what we're talking to here. So I really don't expect them to even try to give Seth Luttrell any benefit of the doubt or try to understand it all, because the reality is we were one of the worst offenses in the country. And that's just a fact right now. There's statistically.
I'm curious what so 99% of the 99% of the chat wants Seth Luttrell fired immediately. Okay, fine. Tell me who you would have as offensive coordinator against South Carolina.
DeMarco Murray.
And of course, there's going to be somebody that's like, my kid could call better. A junior high, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I'm serious. I want you to say, if Brent Venables released a statement that said, Seth Luttrell is fired, we are elevating blah, blah, blah to offensive coordinator, and then tell me what system they're going to run. look, I love Bixby's OC. He's been there 12, 13 years, something like that. You're not hiring a high school offensive coordinator. You can't, unless you just want to throw recruiting to the wind. You have to have some type of like credibility in the college ranks if you're going to recruit offensive talent at all. And that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. Who are you hiring?
Yeah.
I'd run something off NFL Blitz.
and
Okay, Mars. Okay, Mars. Kevin Johns, OC. I like Kevin Johns. I think he's good. I would love for him to be co-OC at a minimum. I personally think Joe John, if we're going to get away from RPO, I'm not sure what Joe John does.
Provides. Yeah. And his room's been the worst, regardless.
He hasn't recruited to a plus, at least over the last couple cycles. 2025, 2026, don't see any tight end recruiting impact there. His room hasn't been great. And then if he's the tight of the RPO, we can just get that out. I would love Johns to be elevated to co-OC. But I don't know. I think Kevin John, I think an internal elevation. What is Kevin Johns going to call? Is he going to call the air raid that Kevin Johns is a Broyles Award semifinalist, finalist, whatever, right? Him and Luttrell run the same offense. Like they built their own offense together. They were co-offensive coordinators at Indiana together. In 2012, they broke all kinds of records being co-offensive coordinators. So
the people don't want to hear that, Trav. They didn't come here to hear facts.
They thought Luttrell was a garbage man in 2012. So when Luttrell and Kevin Johns were together, Kevin Johns coached quarterbacks. I think Luttrell was running. I think he was tight ends and OC and tight ends at that point. So you could have OC tight end with Luttrell if Joe John moves on. Then you could have Johns be OC and quarterback coach. You're in good shape there. So I think I just think there's no path to success if you make a midseason firing. I think there is a path to success if you keep Seth to see what he does the rest of the year. Who knows? Maybe once he gets the shackles of the RPO off of him and he's able to slowly implement his offense over the next 6-7 weeks, you see a better offense, a better product by the time Bama rolls to town.
Yeah.
So,
guys, calm down.
And all I haven't seen anybody decommit.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
despite all this trash, I mean, no offensive commits are coming. Nobody. Everybody saw that. Nobody's decommitted. I mean, it's almost like they know
the young kids are getting run right now.
Young kids are getting all kind of run. If you are a young guy committed to OU and you're seeing a true freshman at quarterback, a true freshman at running back, let's see, redshirt freshman on the offensive line, 2 redshirt freshmen on the offensive line. You're seeing a bunch of true freshman wide receivers and a true freshman tight end all get run. Why would you get to come play immediately?
Yeah.
So it's ugly because this schedule was already an animal. And I think the only thing that has really been mishandled was the implementation of Seth. Like, the hiring of Seth is not the problem. The hiring of Seth and then making him run somebody else's playbook for half the season, that's the problem. And that's on Venables. And that's what's got us into this position. If Luttrell took over and then like installed his own offense, him and Johns installed their whole offense in the offseason, it still might be no good because our offensive line, we've had literally 10 different combinations of offensive linemen playing. Top 5 wide receivers out. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if it'd be any good anyways. It would be better, I think, if they would have let Seth install his offense immediately. But there are other blame to be passed around than just to Seth Littrell.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. Because he's been a successful coordinator everywhere he's been.
Except
something happened. Something happened.
Well,
it isn't just that Seth Littrell showed up, installed his whole offense, taught it up all fall, spring, all went to workouts, got here, and then spring ball, summer, fall, everything like that, installed his offense, and then it's looked like crap.
Yeah,
it's not. It's just not what it is. If you still think it is that way, then you're just willfully ignorant at that point. You're just not willing to learn new information. You're not willing to accept other information. You've made up your mind on something, and you're just no. You're the guy, stubborn as a mule. Your fingers are in your ears, and you won't hear anything that makes sense. And if that's the case, I simply can't help you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Teddy said it best. Like, nobody's gonna. I know we live in this world of results, so I know nobody's gonna want to hear like that the offensive line was injured literally the whole summer. That obviously we're down our top 5 wide receivers. That severely impacts an offense. It would severely impact any offense, let alone an offense with an offensive coordinator trying to run not even his own system, let alone an offense with a young quarterback, let alone an offense with not that much depth at offensive line anyway. So it just seems like this is all a recipe for that to happen. And now you have execution issues on top of that. And it just is, it's how you have one of the worst OU offenses in 20 plus years and statistically one of the worst offenses of the last decade through 6 weeks, of the season, which is crazy to say. You never would have thought this would happen in Oklahoma. We weren't trying to be, obviously we would like to have a great offense like, Lincoln Riley had a great offense, but we want to marry the two. We didn't think we were going to go from the other side. And really 2 of the 3 years we haven't. We've had top 10 offenses. This is the first year we had an actually terrible offense to this point. And so there's not a lot of hope for the next few games just because of who we're playing and what our schedule is. I mean, I would like to say, man, maybe we can make plays here and there. Maybe we can string some things together. Yeah. But I don't know. And I want to get into this review.
I do want to clear up. I know Kirby is having an evening, but when I thought Seth was installing his offense. Like, I didn't realize he was as shackled as he was. So
who said that? Who said we was going to have a top? Did we ever say that?
I think we may have said it like when he got hired or something like that, because I think he probably said we had the talent of that, but I had no idea that it was full blown a Levy offense, basically like RPO. Like I didn't know that he was going to be dealing with that. I thought, okay, we're going to take Seth Littrell's air raid heavy offense and implement it, the same thing that he ran everywhere to massive success, and he's going to run that here. The problem is he didn't, because he had a 5-star quarterback that said, hey, I've been running the system for 3 years now. I'm going to keep running it. And what started this whole mess is Jackson just played poorly. Like, and it is what it is.
I was telling a friend of mine that right before we hopped on, we was arguing. He's married into being an OU fan. His wife is from Oklahoma. He's from here. They live in Hawaii right now because he's with the Air Force. So he's married in. And he's like, Jalen, we need Jackson Arnold back in. This Michael Hawkins is not good. Look what I said. I said, don't do this. I said, don't do this, because I said, you do not want to get in this conversation with me. Like, you do not. And we got into it, and I was like, listen, man, like, this is on Jackson. Like, as much as you want to say whatever else is on Jackson. And I get it. Like, do I think Jackson may have an opportunity at some point this year to come back in?
Oh, he will.
Maybe. I do. Like, I could see it. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves here because of this Texas game. Nobody, not one person, maybe except for what's his name, Bob Stoops statue, was saying that Jackson should have still been in after Tennessee. Nobody. Because you asked Trav and I if you want to pull up some receipts, Kirby, and thank you, Ghost, appreciate that. If you want to pull up some receipts, Kirby, me and Trav were Jackson's staunchest defenders until Tennessee. We said, because everybody was like, after Houston, pull him out. Let's see Mike Hawkins. Let's see what he can do. After Houston, we were like, no, bro, calm down. It's the second game. And really, we don't win. We probably don't beat Tulane without Jackson and his legs. So, I mean, he did a good job in that game, you know, athletically. And then Tennessee happened. And he just made some and not only, Travis, did he make catastrophic decisions and just like obviously some bad luck with, like, for example, getting the ball on the 5-yard line and fumbling at the next play. That could happen to anybody. Genuinely, it could happen to anybody. Honestly,
that doesn't happen to many, but it could happen to anybody. It doesn't happen to many, really.
What I mean by that is, like, he's going to the ground. Like, if Bauer Sharp's not there, he's probably on the ground, and he probably didn't get stripped. Like, I'm just saying that was coincidental. The backwards pass, that's where I said, nah, like, I'm done after the interception. And this is also before we go and listen to the Oklahoma breakdown, which most people do. And most people appreciate Gabe and Teddy because they're former All-Americans, because they break the game down in the midst of their podcast. I mean, when Gabe says verbatim, and he's probably one of the most objective people you'll meet, that was probably the worst half of a quarterback from Oklahoma that I've seen. When he says that, not only from the interceptions, but the decision-making on RPOs in general, he couldn't play. You couldn't keep him in there. He was handicapping what you did have at the time. You still had Dion. You kind of had Nick, but not really. But, like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, that was what happened. We had to see Mike. Mike showed some flashes at the end of Tennessee. Mike, again, wasn't perfect against Auburn, but he made plays. He made that electric play at the beginning of the game. He made a play in the fourth quarter, getting the ball down the field to J.J. Hester, still our most electric play of the year thus far in the passing game, and helped us to win the game. Now you have a bad game against Texas where he didn't look great. You know, he could have got the ball out of his hands quicker. He wasn't seeing it, right? That's a piece of it. But now we're just going to be like, oh, let's see Jackson Arnold again?
My thing is, people got in there and they were like, we gotta get Jackson in because he's got the arm, man. He can make all the throws. It's like, no, like it's just it's revisionist history. Like, people forget Jackson was struggling through 3.5 games. Like, he was struggling. Like, he never threw above 200 yards against Temple, Houston, and Tulane. So never threw above 200 yards. Of the 5 most explosive plays of the year, he's got 2 and 5, where Hawkins has 1, 3, and 4. Like, there's just been nothing that Jackson did better after longer in the system, playing against worse opponents, playing with Dion Burks at times, with Jalil Farouk for that first game, with these guys. Like, they're not, like, they've played completely 2 different difficulties of schedules. And Hawkins, he's just been better. He's been more of a gamer. And people want to say, hey, let's dink and dunk or this, that, and the other with Mike. Like, at the end of the game, when he was throwing it out of bounds, the game was already in hand. Like, we could have won Tennessee had Jackson not turned the ball over 3 times in the first 1.5 quarters. So I don't know. And Jackson, anyway, stuff I won't get into on the pod, but I trust Hawkins' preparation and focus a lot more going forward. So
listen,
it's
we are not going to, Les, I love you, dog, but we're not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't like, yes, Jack, that's the reason that Travis and I want to get to these clips so we can move on. That's the reason that Travis and I had Jackson's back for so long, was because the offensive line was shuffling so much. We had wide receivers hurt. That's not the reason we're talking about him getting pulled in Tennessee. It was his decisions. And again, if you please just go back and watch the tape, go back and watch In the Weeds on Oklahoma Breakdown. Listen to Gabe and Teddy. Like, if you don't want to believe us, believe them. Like Jackson made so many catastrophic mistakes in that half versus Tennessee that you had to pull him out, because it wasn't about other people at that time. It was about him and what he was doing and the decisions that he was making, which is why he got pulled. If it's about other people around him, then you leave him in, give him a chance. And that's what a lot of people feel like it's about with Mike. I mean, he had some opportunities again to get rid of the football on Saturday. Like those are pieces, and that's a part of him growing. But he's also not turning the ball over, which is a big point when you're the quarterback. So let's just see where it goes. Does that mean Jackson won't play the rest of the year? I don't know that. Maybe he gets his wits back under him. Maybe this has been good for him, and we see a different version of him. But again, we're not going to act like that game was not, and him being pulled out was not based off of the decision that he made and somebody else. Okay, Trav. Let's talk about this one loan off. We got 3 plays to get through here because we didn't want to show a lot more else.
We're gluttons for punishment, though, because none of them are good, because I don't know if there were any good plays.
There were really none. So, but yeah, Michael Hawkins gets up here, and really, a piece of this is Taylor Tatum just whiffing on a block, and Anthony Hill Jr. having a great motor and stripping the ball out. Mike's got to take care of the ball here. That's a piece. He's got to put 2 hands on the ball. I know he's almost tripping, but that's something he needs to learn to do. But
yeah, and he's never been a fumbler, but he's got to watch the tape and be better at it. But yeah, I mean, he was immediately under pressure. Sexton got beat on that side. It was ugly, and when you got to escape up the middle, so he did the right thing. But Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons coming after you, I'm not jealous of him for that.
Yeah. And then the defense generally plays.
And good job getting it out.
Sorry for the noise, y'all. But I mean, they broke down at points, and
Bowman right there was really that's what was upsetting about that play, because you're talking All-American, All-SEC guy, and Quintravion Wisner put him on absolute skates right there.
Yeah,
he slides right by him.
It's bad.
He had a bad game, man. He had
a
bad game.
He did not have a good game. And I do want to address this. I know some people are mad at Danny, feeling like, why is he? And I'm interested I haven't seen it yet, but I know they, Gabe and Ted did In the Weeds on this, and they go over this play. I'm interested in what they have to say. But to me, like, I think Danny's doing what he can. I think Danny's not as fast as Golden. And
yeah,
I think Danny's exhausted because they've been going up and down the field. I mean, he's playing defense. Like, he's running all over the field. And it's not as if he's given up. I don't believe that.
No, I mean, Bolden, he runs like a ran a 10.6 100 in high school. He's fast. Danny was struggling a bit, just speed-wise, coming from all the way back here. But once he sees the ball come out, he goes. But he's clearly behind Bolden at that point. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's dogging it or anything like that. He just got beat, and that's the way. Like sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. RSJ makes a great play. Woody gets turned around, but RSJ comes from across, causes the fumble, takes him out of the play, and you've got to if you're Danny in that situation, you've just got to go punch that ball out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, do what you can.
Like you just got to go hit that ball out of the back of the end zone. Like that's a touchback if that happens. So if he lays out right there, slides, who knows what happens? Simple fact of the matter is Bolden's faster than Danny. Bolden's faster than most people on that field at the time. So full head of steam. You can see him running right there at the shadow. He's got a straight line on it, runs right to it. So,
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Trey Wisner, I don't think he was committed to OU. I think he was an OU like lean. He was never actually committed to us. This was the other one.
This is bad. Just bad.
Again, RSJ slides down him like a fireman's pole right here. Look at this. He pulls this back the other way. RSJ's right there. Slides right by him.
You got to make that tackle.
And then Billy tries, can't get it done. Eli Bowen's almost there. Eli Bowen was our best player, offense and defense, which is crazy. He's a true freshman.
Yeah.
You almost caught him. Just couldn't get there.
Yeah, and it's a situation where we get it. The defense is still like by most metrics like a top 10, top 15 defense. Even after this game, like they still are.
It was tough. Trey Wisner averaged 9.1 yards a carry.
Yeah, that's tough.
They gained more yards handing the ball off to him than they did having Quinn Ewers attempt a pass.
Yep.
So,
which is why I'm not hearing the Quinn versus Baker stuff, and we can talk about that later. But yeah.
Yeah, right. Quinn didn't play all that great. He had wide open receivers too.
He really didn't. He didn't play great at all. But the defense struggled. We're not talking about total defense, Jimmy. I understand where you're coming from with that. I'm just saying like the K4 ratings, efficiency ratings, right? Stuff that takes into account variations and not just a total number. Have OU rated as a top 15 defense. That's what we're talking
about. Everybody jumped all over BV for his comments about, what stood out to me was the defense played poorly. I mean, everybody's like, he's out of touch. I'm like, well, to me, I don't know. To me, he was expecting the offense to struggle because he's been in practice with them all year. He was expecting the offense to have to work through some stuff. And they needed to take advantage of short fields. They needed to create turnovers, all that kind of stuff. Well, if you expect your offense to struggle and the offense struggles, you can't really be mad about it. If you expect to lean on your defense and they look like they're covered in dish soap trying to tackle Texas runners, that's what you can be disappointed in. So I think everybody was getting all mad saying, what do you mean the defense didn't play well? You should be in there firing Seth Luttrell. No, it's relative to expectation. This is a guy that expected his defense. He put them in the right spot. He put them in the place to make the tackles. And they didn't make the tackles. And that's what's frustrating to him is they've been making those tackles all year.
Yeah.
And then just against Texas, they just couldn't hold up. Coming off a bye, rested. Defense didn't have to learn anything new. They weren't installing a new scheme. Defense played its worst game of the year, which you're often going to play your worst game of the year when you play the number one team in the country. Like those two things go hand in hand. Yeah. But they really played uncharacteristically sloppy.
Yeah. And I might hate, look, we may hate to admit it as Oklahoma Sooners fans, but like Texas is just better right now. That's just a fact. There's no argument. They're better, and so we need to figure out, obviously, offensively, clearly, what needs to happen. I think their defense is very good. I don't think they're as good as maybe advertised. I don't think they're, and I think we all knew we weren't going to give them a test offensively. Let's just be honest with ourselves. I don't think anybody thought that. And so, yeah, makes their defense look like, oh, they're still top 3, top 5. And again, they have great talent. Anthony Hill played really good. You know, they got some good talent. I'm interested to see how it goes for them this Saturday against Georgia.
They have slightly better talent. Duke Silver Sooners says the narrative that Texas is bigger, faster, stronger is just stupid. Same measurables, blue chip players. Texas has 11 5-stars. Oklahoma has 4. Texas has the 4th ranked roster in America, according to Blue Chip. Oklahoma has 7th. So, yeah, for the most part, the problem is a couple of those 5-star guys are Anthony Hill Jr. and Colin Simmons.
Yeah.
Those guys ate us alive.
Yeah.
So,
and that's nothing new. I mean,
Texas PJ dealt with injuries. David Stone is probable on this chart, but we got true freshmen starting. It was just once you look at the injuries and the money they put on their offensive line with back in the day. I mean, it's the people that were available to play and played on Saturday. Yes, there was a big difference between Texas's people that played and Oklahoma's people that played. So it's just a matter of fact.
Yeah.
None of our offensive linemen would have started for that offensive line, in my estimation.
Yeah.
Our I don't know. Quinn did play bad, but our quarterback wouldn't have. Our tight end sure didn't. Gunnar Helm looks like the number 1 tight end in the country. Wide receivers, I don't know who's playing over 5-star. Ryan Wingo. Isaiah Bond's probably the top 3 receiver in the SEC. Like, as far as people that were available, yes, Texas had far and away better talent. Now, if it's just the roster and I could wave a magic wand and make everybody healthy and have it that way from the beginning of the season, give that offensive line time to gel, because that offensive line at Texas, they've been together for a while. They've started umpteen numbers of games together.
Yeah.
So, get Fasusi in here. Get Ryan Foje in here. Let's see what happens.
They're not coming anymore, Trav. They're going to decommit.
Oh yeah, we won't have any offensive commits by the end of the year.
Which I guess, it could happen. Obviously
not all of them.
Could happen. But. All right, let's.
Malik Hawkins is staying committed.
Yeah. Let's get to South Carolina for OU preview to end out our time here. South Carolina is okay offensively. Better than us. They have, mobile quarterback and Sellers who can throw as well.
He's got interceptions in 4 straight games.
Yeah. So you gotta hope we find some turnovers, can find some life on offense. Their defense is okay as well. I mean, their edge guys are really good, really good. So, we're gonna have to figure something out offensively, man. We are. It'll be Michael Hawkins' first start at home.
Yeah, need it. And I'll put it this way. I'm wondering what kind of answers I get. How many points do we have to score against South Carolina? Realistically. Don't say 200. Now don't say 199. I don't know how you guys do it. How many points do we have to score on offense? Not defense, but on offense. Do we have to score for you guys to say, okay, I was surprised by that offensive performance. I'm actually willing to keep an open mind about Seth Littrell going forward.
Did most people have Taylor Tatum as a 4-star?
Yeah, the way the composite worked, though, he was a he was a 5-star top running back, but yeah, like he wasn't consensus. I think he was nearly consensus number one running back, but it was, I don't know, it was the weird it was weighted. He was a 5-star, not by 247 or rivals, though. Okay. So, Kirby, answer the question. he's off in his own world. Act like a blue blood chat person. You're super G5 right now.
That's not answering the question. We said how many points? You saying 0?
Okay, so more than 3 in Boomer 129 is going to have full faith. Keeping an open mind and Seth. Less than 20. Points. Keep an open mind. 24. 24. 24.
You think they're that much better than Auburn?
28. 20. Okay, 28. So, if the offense, this is crazy. If the offense scores 28 points, Kirby's going to come in here and say, all right, I'm ready to keep an open mind about Seth Littrell.
Deal.
I love it. Come on. Like I've never wanted to see an offensive explosion to 28 points in my life as badly as that is.
That's something to bet on, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, 17. Sooner Cowboys said ain't scoring more than 17. Here we go. All right.
Listen, I understand your point about Brent's resume.
It will become a talking point. You even said 2 blowouts, Texas, no bowl wins. Let's see what happens at the end of the year. If we win a bowl game at the end of the year, then we'll talk about it. It doesn't make sense for you to speculate what's going to happen,
right?
And then ask, when are we going to start talking about what happened when it hasn't happened yet?
I will also say you have to throw some caveats in there, like, missing.
I like how Kirby said, I just said a number. I don't know what you asked. I was too busy asking you to on Brent's resume.
Missing top 5 wide receivers, the schedule that you're playing.
I didn't ask for respect Littrell. It was keep an open mind for the rest of the season.
For me to respect Littrell, 40 plus.
Yeah. Dude, they come out and drop 50. Kirby's got to get a Littrell tattoo.
So let's do a score prediction then. Let's get a score prediction rolling.
Okay, bet.
He already told you why he speculated that. We didn't know we was going to have 5 wide receivers injured, the offensive line injured the whole summer. If you had told us that, maybe you feel different, Kirby.
I also didn't expect them to be running Jeff Levy's offense.
Running a different offense.
5 games out of the season. That was a poor choice. All right, 2010 says Les. 24-17. Last scores in the 20s. Look at this offense cook. Lone Wolf, 21. I don't know if these are all defensive scores, but my hair's got a little swoop thing going on. Got a little curls going on. This is new. 21-17. JP, what's your score?
17 for Kirby. Man, I'm gonna go 24-17. 24-20. I'm gonna go 24-20. Sorry. Or you?
I'm going. I'm gonna go 28-24.
That's not fair, Jimmy. You can't install a brand new offense in 2 weeks and expect to score a bunch on the number 1 team in the nation with bad execution.
All right, 17-10. Hey, Sooner Cowboy says ain't no way they score over 17, but he's picking 17. Boom.
Hey, 17-10.
28-24. Yep, for OU, yes. For the good guys. I'll never pick against OU because I'm the eternal optimist. It is what it is. A lot of 17, 16 for Kirby. Okay. No,
Kirby
a
said
lot
16.
of scores in the 20s. Old Duke Silver Sooner hitting it with 26-13.
Can we have an over 200-yard passer and an over 100-yard rusher just one time?
I'm not sure. I think it's against the SEC bylaws.
Listen to me. I wasn't saying offensively that we were going to score. I was saying as a team, we were leading the nation before last week in defensive touchdown. So I think it was reasonable to say that our defense could have came up with some points. That's what I was saying.
28-24.
And we scored 20 against Auburn. That was right.
Did we score 27 against Auburn?
Yeah.
27-21?
Yes.
2 field goals.
2 field goals.
A touchdown by the defense and 2 touchdowns by the offense.
Yes, that's correct.
So you need a game like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
1 defensive score, 2 offensive scores, or 2 offensive touchdowns, a couple field goals. You win, you play like that. Auburn turns the ball over a lot.
You said Auburn does?
Auburn turns the ball over a ton. Christian knows what's up. We're all suffering, but still go hit that like.
Please.
Hit the like.
That is true, Kirby.
Hit the like.
Listen, here in a few minutes, I'm going to give the chat a chance to do something we haven't done in JP and Trav history. Partially because it was a hectic week for me, but I'm going to let y'all choose some this or that questions tonight because I don't have any. I didn't have any. I didn't make any up. Like I said.
All right, I'm gonna text them to you. You can type them in.
Bet.
Okay.
If we lose on Saturday, do we win another conference game? Hard pressed. I mean, it's hard. Just looking at it, it's hard pressed. The most winnable game to me is LSU. Maybe Bama.
Let's see. Man, this is.
Missouri. I forgot about Missouri. Yeah, Missouri's winnable for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I need to check that line later. Let's see. All right, that's the first one. Kirby, you are not allowed to have a this or that.
I'd be scared.
They're up 19-0. Tyler said they'd win 20-0. He's going to text me if I'm right.
You gonna send me a 1 by 1, or you gonna send?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. This or that, y'all. Remember, you have to choose one. Toilet paper over the roll or under the roll? What are we choosing?
Everybody understands that, right?
Are you going under or are you going over?
JP, what is it in your household?
It is under, I think.
So say the toilet paper is against the wall right here. Is it coming out like this, or is it going back behind and coming down?
I am pretty sure it's going back behind.
Back behind. Less like I don't care. Just give me the toilet paper. Under. See, I think the under is for people who have, or was started by people who have cats. Because cats tend to try and unroll it.
Duke,
you're not a bidet guy?
hey,
Hey, yeah. Chance knows what's up.
Travis, what about you?
I'm an over. That's the only way that makes sense to me. I think it looks better. And usually like hotels, like those of you that don't know, I'm raised in the hotel industry. Always has the little fold, the little triangular fold pointing down. Ryan, your toilet paper's on the counter next to you? It's kind of weird. Put it on the roll, man. It's right there. Don't keep it on the counter. What if it gets wet?
You have over and under. Depends on which bathroom. Wow, that's way to be multiple, just like a Brent Venables defense. All right, next one. Wet jeans or wet socks? Which one would you rather have? Wet jeans or wet socks?
Unfold.
Moist wipes. Oh. Let's see, jeans.
You do want wet jeans. See, the issue for me is
I don't think I've ever had wet jeans.
If I get socks wet, it's usually because I've stepped in something and I didn't know it was going to be wet. That's like the dog peed or spilled something, or you get the classic. You got the ice from the ice maker, and it spits an ice cube off, and you don't realize it, and then it melts on the floor, and you step on it. That gets really annoying. I'd still probably prefer wet socks to wet jeans. JP went to go wet his jeans to see what it feels like. That's a man that's committed to the content right there. Let's see. Jeans. Seth Luttrell Expo. Jeez. I've never seen somebody take strays like Seth Luttrell. Not strays, but like I like the consistency of it. Let's see. Oh, I think I heard him. There he is.
My bad, Trav. I had to get my computer's about to die. I have to make sure I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were going to wet your socks or wet your jeans just to
not.
Answer the question.
Seth Luttrell likes his socks wet. Forward.
$19-0.
All
right. You do that one, and then I'll send a food, or I'll send an OU one last.
All right. Last but not least, face the shower head or back to shower head?
Yeah, I didn't know this was a thing until recently. I've always faced the shower head.
Boomer, what are you talking about, bro? Come on now. You know. Face. Both. How can you do both at the same time?
Lone Wolf Rich, I guess, got multiple shower heads. Both. Y'all all rich? Everybody got all these 9-headed showers or whatever?
X, what's happening? Depends on what? Diapers?
Depends.
Hey, you gonna call me Zesty? I got a daughter sleeping in the other room. Come on now.
Zesty.
I'm face. I hate the water on my back, to be honest.
I think we've done bath versus shower before. I think it was Kirby's on one.
Kirby, what's wrong with you, dog?
Oh man, I had one. No, I forgot it.
Seth takes ice cold showers after the game while crying and listening to it. Oh my word. I'm sure it would have been nice to go to the apple orchard during last
the rest of us
Saturdays.
definitely would have preferred an apple orchard to that.
Okay, one more.
Last one.
It's a food one. We always do a food one. Pasta. Are we doing red sauce or are we doing white sauce?
Kirby's gonna make this dirty somehow.
Somehow.
I think I figured out a way how he's gonna do it, but what about you, JP? We got another both?
When we say red sauce, are we saying marinara?
17. Are you late to the party, Klima?
Right. Are we saying like marinara and Alfredo?
Or any type of cream-based sauce?
I'm definitely probably more white sauce, dude. Alfredo.
A lot of people white sauce. Vodka sauce, yeah, it's good.
White sauce, white. I like vodka sauce. Okay. Hey, there you go, Curbs.
What y'all got against tomatoes?
I don't like tomatoes personally, though I like marinara. I like ketchup. They don't taste the same.
Yeah, ketchup. I'm not much of a ketchup person. It's rare for me to get after a ketchup. I mean, I'll have it on like mini corn dog or something like that.
Yeah.
But
You see this question, Trav?
I have been to Mondo's. I typically get their clam linguine while I'm there, or their shrimp limon. Those are my two favorite dishes there. But no, I've not tried their ravioli. Sounds pretty good though. I'm more of a Il Sem guy. The ILSEME. It's a place downtown that's really cool, really small, homemade pastas, everything like that. That Villa Ravenna is fantastic. Those are probably, and then D'Alessandro's. Those are probably my three like Italian go-tos if I'm in Tulsa. Il Sem is amazing.
How do I look like I don't like tomatoes? What does that mean?
Man. Mix ketchup and honey mustard.
What?
What?
I've never heard that in my life. Like in my life.
Ketchup's already sweet. Why do you need more sweetness?
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to. I'm waiting for Sooner Cow. Hey, we don't ever get to see this side of Sooner Cowboys. He's normally coming with the hot takes.
Yeah, well, Kirby's got those covered tonight. So
That's a fact.
that sounds so sweet.
I don't know what
Ketchup and honey mustard. Yikes. Still doesn't touch the worst food take that we've ever had on this channel.
You talking about PG?
Yeah, yeah. Corn tortillas with your peanut butter and jelly.
That's insane.
Just
Roughing it.
offensive.
Roughing it.
Offensive.
Yeah, wow.
Oh,
wow.
I just keep thinking about it.
Yuck.
That's terrible. All right. Well, time flies when you're miserable. So
Indeed.
show flew by today.
Yeah. Listen, let's just pray that we get a win this Saturday, because if we don't, it truly might implode, Trav. Especially if the offense is what it has been.
Yeah, it's got to be figured out.
It has to. We're all in agreement on that. We
can't get worse.
Seth Luttrell being the worst offensive coordinator, but we're all in agreement that it has to get figured out. I mean, there's no other place to be. Really, no other place to go but that.
Yeah. Hey, if it's the 2005 season, means a national championship appearance is on the way.
Yeah. That would be terrible. But all right. Well, appreciate y'all again. Thank you guys for all the love and support. I'll keep you updated on Boomer. As the weekend progresses, and we'll pick him up on Sunday.
Sweet.
And, I'll give you guys a little update on him and show you how he's doing. But appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next Wednesday, hopefully, after a dub and move to 5-2. Boomer.
Let's get this dub like Jameis.
Eat the dub.